2025 school board meeting. I think we have an existence of a quorum, so I'd like the board to come to order. Mr. Mason.
Everyone will face the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, you have our open meeting minutes in front of you from the February meeting, and I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I make the motion.
A motion by Mr. Etheridge. Second by Ms. Schuler. Are any discussions? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? They are approved. Dr. Farrell, are there any changes to the agenda?
No.
Under consent of the board, we will approve the agenda. And at this time, we will go right into Ms. Cameron Whitley.
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. I'm going to introduce our Inspiring Excellence winners for tonight, and we will start with Fairview Heights and Dr. Teresa Gardner.
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and board members, I'd like to present to you at this time Miss Paris McCrae. She is a teacher's assistant at Fairview Heights. Miss McCrae, come up. Miss McCrae is truly an exceptional teacher assistant who exemplifies dependability, positivity, and an unwavering work ethic. She seamlessly integrates into the classroom, working tirelessly to ensure each student receives the support they need. Whether leading small groups, assisting with lesson plans, or providing one-on-one help, Ms. McCrae is as engaged and committed as a teacher, creating a productive and encouraging environment for students. Her positive attitude is contagious, always fostering a sense of enthusiasm and motivation in the classroom. Her work ethic is unmatched, as she consistently takes initiative and goes above and beyond to ensure that every task is completed with care and precision. I'd like to present to you our Inspiring Excellence classified Paris McCrae. Yeah, family.
Paris, didn't you go to Richmond by then? I think I talked to you.
Well, us four will go next for ninth grade academy.
And now I'd like to present to you our certified staff member, Miss Rhonda Jenkins. She is our AIG teacher. Miss Jenkins is a remarkable AIG teacher whose positivity, dedication, and mentorship leave a lasting impact on everyone she encounters. She has an innate ability to connect with her students, creating an environment where they feel valued, supported, and inspired to reach their full potential. Her caring nature extends beyond the students. She is a true mentor to her colleagues, always willing to offer guidance, encouragement, and a listening ear. What sets Miss Jenkins apart is her unwavering commitment to both her professional and personal life. This I truly value in her. She manages to balance the demands of teaching, family, and life with grace and poise, setting an incredible example for those around her. I present to you Miss Rhonda Jenkins, AIG.
She has a pretty good husband, too.
Yes, she does. Pretty good husband.
Next, we will have the Ninth Grade Academy and Miss Karen Allen.
Thank you. Our first Expiring Excellence Award winner is Renee O'Neill, who is our bookkeeper. Renee exemplifies the head or the brain of our school. She keeps everything running so smoothly, from subs to copy machines to the coffee maker to whatever we need. She's on it. She is so very organized and keeps the rest of us organized, mainly me. Teachers know that they can go to her and she can answer any questions about the Ninth Grade Academy and take care of what needs to be taken care of. So we are so very fortunate to have Miss Renee O'Neill at Ninth Grade Academy.
All right. What? Y'all scoot in a little bit. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations.
And our Certified Excellence Award winner, where Renee is the brains of our school, Miss Anna Odom is our guidance counselor. She is definitely the heart of our school. Not only does she counsel the kids within the building, she's also seen counseling staff and keeping everybody cool under pressure. We appreciate Miss Odom. She knows the ins and outs of scheduling, what it takes to be a guidance counselor, what it takes to meet all the needs of the children in our school, and we are so very fortunate to have her as well.
There we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Whitley. We are going to move on to Dr. Wendy Jordan.
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. I'm just going to speak briefly and introduce one person who's then going to introduce some more. Teresa Smith, who is the interim director with DSS, is going to come and share with you an opportunity that some of our students had. She communicated to me earlier in the year, last month I think, for some students to travel to DC and represent our local drug endangered family task force, which you all have heard me talk about many times. We've had a partnership with them, and I've been on their board since 2017, and they operate under CADCA, which is the Communities Anti-Drug Coalitions of America. And a lot of the work that goes on with DEFT is under that umbrella, and so this year we had some students who were able to travel to a national conference and represent Richmond County And so they're going to speak to that tonight, just share a little bit about their experience.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to come today. So, along with the interim director at DSS, I also am the chairperson of our drug task force. As Dr. Jordan was just saying, we've been in existence since 2017, and our main goal is just sharing the message about what's going on in our community with drugs. And we have, for several years now, had the opportunity to receive grant funding through SYNC, which is Community Impact North Carolina. And the last 2 years with our grants, we have really worked on youth-focused messaging. A lot of the opportunities that we've had are talking about locking up your meds, or working with older adults or parents about protecting their medication and making sure that it's not in the right hands. We collect data on substance-affected infants. And we felt like that the place that we really needed to target was our youth, and getting the message out to our youth about substances and why it's not safe for them. And so with the grant funding, I had the opportunity to bring on 3 interns. And 2 of them are still working with us, which is Marcus Henderson and Nick Powell. And Nick is here today. And then we also, when we had the chance to go to CADCA, they have what's called a forum. So we spent the week, Bruce Stampak went with me. We've been working with the teen court with our drug task force also. We had the opportunity to take some youth. I've been to CADCA numerous times and had the opportunity to attend. So it's one of those where you go and there's just tons of classes to choose from, a lot of information that is shared. And I've always, when I've been there, seen all of these youth there. There's like thousands of people at this event, and probably half of them are youth. And this is the first time that we had funding and we're able to take youth with us. You figure staying in a nice hotel in Washington, D.C. and feeding them was not cheap. And so the grant allowed us the opportunity to do that. So we took 3 youth with us, which was Marcus Henderson, Nick Powell, and Ved Patel, and then Bruce and myself. And so I wanted to give the guys an opportunity maybe to tell you a little bit about what their experience was like. They had, hopefully they'll tell you, if not, I'll tell you 1 or 2 more things, but there's several really good opportunities that they had. Y'all wanna come on up? And Bruce, anything you wanna add to? You go ahead.
Before Nick.
Oh, go ahead.
I basically went as a chaperone. When they were presented with this opportunity, and she was going to fly, and they weren't going to fly, and so I didn't want them to miss this opportunity to go to this leadership conference, and so I volunteered to drive them up to D.C. For the meeting, and I must say they represented us very well. They attended all of the workshops. I think one of the highlights was the legislative day, where we had the opportunity to go and speak with our legislators. Now, Marcus is not here, but he's working tonight. But Marcus was chosen as one of the persons to thank the legislator that we went to see Tillis, and Nick will talk about his experience. But we went to see Tillis in his office. Unfortunately, because of meetings, he wasn't there, but his staff was there. And so Marcus had the opportunity to introduce the team, because they picked only, out of all the kids that were there, they picked only certain kids who could go and meet with the legislature, because they're, of course, a small space. And so he did a very good job, represented us very well in his presentation. And I wish he was here to talk about it, because he wasn't. But this is Nick Powell.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Nick.
So our experience with CADCA, I've never been to anything like this. And once we went, I really enjoyed it. I think we had no clue what we were going. We knew we were going for the Drug Endangerment Family Task Force. And once we went, there was so much unity. We united. It was so many different youth and state from all across the globe or whatever. and we learned a lot about drug endangerment and how to prevent substance use within the youth community, which I found really, it was great. It was great. And also, I got the chance to talk to Senator Bud Staffers about the changes we can bring within the state of North Carolina and drugs, how he voted on funding for a whole bunch of prevention within drug use, and it was great. We were there with so many different coalitions from different states, and it was a great time. I enjoyed it a lot.
You don't have to, but you said everything I needed to say. But yeah, it was like really fun though. We got to meet like a lot of new people, like got to know their opinions on drug preventions and everything else. It was a great experience for me. Oh yeah, I will attend next year if I can.
So he just got roped into being a part of our drug task force. The other two have been working with us almost a year now. And this was his first chance, and he just sort of went along, not completely sure what he was doing, but I think that he had the opportunity to learn a lot while we were there. And there's opportunities. I'll say that I've been in numerous meetings since then with different people from the state, and Richmond County's youth were well represented there, and they spoke very well. And I have had the most compliments, and I know that's what Dr. Jordan heard when we came back. Sink's representative that does our funding spoke at our last task force about what a great job that the youth did. They were invited to go, but they didn't have to speak, and both of ours volunteered to speak when they went to meet with the staffers, and did a great job. Both of the adults that were in the meetings that were sort of in charge of keeping things together completely bragged on them. I've heard nothing but good things, and so Richmond County's name is out there in a very good way across North Carolina, and like I said, this is people from all over the United States and other countries that attend this, so they had a great chance. And I hope, are going to continue working with the Drug Task Force. We're really looking at messaging. I had a meeting today and have a couple ideas that I want to talk to them about, that maybe they're all three juniors at the high school, and trying to work on some programs about messaging out at the high school. I found out today I could use some of our funding to buy some candy bars or some pencils that have messaging on them that they can like maybe put out facts of the day, and then if they walk up to somebody and they know that fact, then they give them something or whatever. And so we just really need to focus on the messaging to our youth and preventing the problem before we're dealing with it later on. So any questions or anything?
Just on behalf of the board, we want to thank you for doing what you do, and for our students for being part of the task force, getting the word out there. Thank you, Bruce, for taking your time and driving to DC. I know it's not a fun drive when you get into DC. So we appreciate you, because again, where we rank in North Carolina and opioid use and all that, it's important for these young adults to do what they're doing. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And guys, it's way easier to fly.
I tried to talk them into it. I get car sick, so I could not drive, and I was like, I want y'all to go, but I can't drive you. If you can find somebody to drive, I'll meet you there.
And I told him it would be a good experience because it was a short flight.
That's right.
To DC, but
is Bruce a good driver?
No.
They got there and back safely, I'll say that.
Put you on a plane,
They've already asked me. They do 2 CADCAs a year. One is Forum, which is when it's in the Washington area, and we go do what's called Capitol Hill Day, which is what they were telling you about. And then they do another event over the summer, and so they've already asked me if we can look at finding funding for them to go again. They've really enjoyed the opportunity.
Well, I am so excited that they took the opportunity to speak. Always speak if you get an opportunity. I didn't do that, and it's very important.
You don't have to worry about that. They wanted to get out and join some of the marches that was going on in DC.
Can we get a picture?
Absolutely.
Ms. Jordan, thank you very much too. Dr. Jordan. That's cool. Anybody want to go down there? Go down there.
Come on, BSO.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here.
Of course.
No, it's good. I'm good. They have a hard copy. It's okay. They have a copy. It's fine.
Good evening, Dr. Smith.
Good evening.
I said it was you.
It's okay. It's not.
This thing is not working right.
It's fine. They have a hard copy. Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. Tonight, we are just updating you all on our summer camp plans in case you begin getting questions from the community. You all have a hard copy in front of you that has, yep, just a screenshot. Yep. And so we will continue to offer our end of grade and our EOC remediation camps. These camps are just designed for students who are within that 1 to 3 point threshold of taking it one time and then having the opportunity to take it again. A lot of times stress just sort of gets in the way that first time, and so they come back and they're fine the second time. So we will continue to offer that for all of our EOGs and EOCs. Also, we will have our Read to Achieve camp. That is known as our summer reading camp. We will provide this for 2nd and 3rd grade students. Typically, we add 1st grade to this, but because of ESSER funding going away, we will just focus on 2nd and 3rd grade moving forward. And that is to support those students with their reading growth and proficiency. Coupled with that, we started last year the ELD camp, and we will offer that again this summer for students who are what we would call our newcomer status and other selected ML students by our ML department to give them some English language development over the summer. So that will run together with the Read to Achieve camp. And those will both be housed at Washington Street Elementary School. We will also provide our STEM camp for rising 1st through 5th grade students. That will also be at Washington Street. Last year we had about 135 students participate, and so this camp is always a fan favorite. They do everything from robotics to virtual reality, engineering, problem solving, just tons of creativity and fun for students. For our middle school students, we will have our CTE career camp, just as typical, at Richmond. And we will focus on, Greg and his team will pull together about 10 different areas. And those range from automotive, robotics, VR, fire, agriculture, health science, business, trade and industry. So all the different pathways that we offer, just to go ahead and expose those students to those pathways. Last year we had about 100 students participate, so we anticipate a good enrollment for that as well. And we will also plan to have our much loved kindergarten summer bridge. This is typically paid for with ESSER, and so because we don't have that funding anymore, we are hoping to secure a grant. We will know by May 5th if that grant is actually approved. But this is when every elementary school invites anywhere from 10 to 15 students to come in, rising kindergarten students, and just expose them to the structures and rigors of kindergarten. And so again, we are hoping to find out in May that we will in fact be able to fund this. And then of course we have our typical credit recovery, and we will offer 2 sessions of that throughout the summer. So, any questions?
We're not having a bridge for like rising 6th graders.
We tried that, and it was so minimally attended that it didn't make sense to fund that anymore. And again, the kindergarten one is the one that was so highly attended. We didn't have a lot of 6th graders show up.
Well, what about the 9th and 10th graders going to the high school?
Yeah, it was not well attended. Now,
for as far as the summer bridge, it was not. We are working with the high school on creating an orientation-like experience for the ninth graders going to Richmond this year. So we are in conversation with them about that. It won't be a week long like this summer bridge or 2 weeks, but it'll be more like an orientation.
We'll also have that group of ninth graders, they're going to Richmond.
Yes,
The
that's what I
10th
mean.
grade.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I mean. So,
And Dr. Smith, just refresh my memory, the
Yeah.
credit recovery at the high school, those 2-week sessions?
yes,
Did a lot attend last year?
yes, yes.
And that's for any student, 9, 10, 11?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And so we are actually, the ninth grade academy students are gonna go to Richmond and do
Right.
that this year, yes.
Cool. Great. Anything else, guys?
Good?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Ms. Bendel, Internet Project at the Fieldhouse.
Yes. Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. I'm here to present a proposal for the installation of internet access at the Richmond Senior High School's football and soccer field houses. This will ensure reliable connectivity in critical areas of the campus for instruction, connecting these spaces back to the main building via a fiber run. Currently, the school lacks adequate internet access in these locations, which limits the ability to utilize technology for educational activities. By extending high-speed internet to these areas, we will enhance student learning, improve, and create more connected school environment overall. We are proposing the installation of the necessary infrastructure, including fiber cabling, network switches, cabinet enclosures, and wireless access points. The winning vendor, Encore, has been selected based on the competitive bid, which offers the best balance of cost, quality, and experience. We anticipate that this project will significantly improve the school's technology capabilities. We are seeking approval from the board to proceed with securing a contract with Encore and to begin the installation process.
So we need a motion to accept the internet access at the Fieldhouse using E-rate.
Yes.
I make a motion.
Are the bids in the folder, or do the board have copies?
No, but I can send them to you. I can pull them up now if you want to see them on the.
If you don't mind, or if we could come back, I really need it in front of you in order to approve it.
Okay, I can do that. I can.
If you need a minute, we could take the next one and come back.
Yeah, if you can get copies for us,
Yeah, I can go do that. If you want to continue on, I'll come back.
we'll just continue on if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back when you get the,
Sure.
so we'll just kind of house that motion right now. Is that okay, Eva?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfect.
I'll go and grab them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Stephen, we can go right to you, Mr. King.
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. Starting with Fairview Heights for the construction updates. As you know, that building's all but complete. There's just a few punch list items left there at that building. It's been up and running for several months now. And we haven't had any issues with it, so we're well pleased with our final product. Same with Mineral Springs. The building itself, all but some punch list items. The building's complete and it's been running well. We do have the service road outside that over the winter, just weather, temperature, a number of things. We've got the road graded. The base course of gravel's been put in and compacted and tested, so we're just waiting for the weather to break temperature-wise and rain-wise so we can get it paved. So it won't take but 2 or 3 days to get that knocked out, so I hope to get that done in the next week or so. Any questions on Fairview or Mineral Springs?
And everything's going well at Mineral Springs with the construction. Now that we're in there for, about 5 months now.
Yes, sir.
Going well.
Yes, sir. Moving to the high school, so just continuing working on HVAC, electrical, plumbing, sprinklers, roof trim, just trim work on the outside of the building. All that's still in progress. All the interior metal stud walls, any partition walls, all that's been complete. Drywall's been hung, primed. First coat of paint's going on now. The lockers have been installed in the locker rooms. The light fixtures, permanent light fixtures in the gym have been installed. Wall tile is starting in the bathrooms and the locker rooms. That's going in now. All the interior items, scoreboards, bleachers, basketball goals, all the finished stuff, cabinets, all that stuff is on site in shipping containers outside. So, you know, they've been ordered and they are on site waiting to be installed. So this week, starting Wednesday, weather permitting, the 6-inch main water line going to the building, feeding the domestic water, and the fire line will go in. It'll be tied in from the courtyard to the main building. It's about 120, 130 feet of 6-inch water line that'll go in. And then after that goes in, then the bridge or the precast concrete going from the upper part of E building to the upper part of the new gym, that little connector, that'll be installed after the water line below it goes in. And then they'll move into finishing the courtyard, grading it all out, and then putting the sidewalk in under the canopy and just kind of cleaning up the front of the new building. The weight room flooring is scheduled to be installed April 17th. And then following, the weight room equipment will be installed the week of spring break. Any questions on the high school?
Not about that, but I had a question for you. When I was principal out there was kind of like a service road that was just made by everybody that goes out there that went behind everything and then actually almost came out at E-building. Is that still gonna be back there, Stephen?
Yes, we are utilizing it. So from going between E-building and F-building, that is a paved road all the way around to
F-building, yes.
Yeah, all the way around to Carpentry. And there's a dirt road that will go behind the new gym, behind the old gym, and then it comes down to the weight room area. And that had been not used in years and had kind of grown up, but they have put some gravel on that road, and you know, we'd like to keep it maintained just so you have access to the back side of that building.
Right.
Any other questions?
Projected completion date still on target so far?
The latest schedule that we got from Muter, and we actually met today on the site with Muter, and actually John Muter, the owner of Muter Construction. They have final completion. This is CO. Everything's cleaned up, moved out, you know, ready for us to occupy the building is June 27th is what they have.
It's going back.
Stephen, the floor in the new gym, is that wood? Is that gonna be a wooden floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So Stephen, let's just look down the road. So that now they're saying in June. It was April, it was May, now it's June 27th. Now, as Scotty just said, that's getting close. So what is it that we're gonna start asking for some money from them if they don't get it?
Yeah, there are liquidated damages in the contract. We actually have a meeting in the morning at 9 a.m. with Rod Malone, our attorney, to discuss that. I don't really have an answer for you at this time. There's some negotiations on both sides with delays that the construction company has incurred. And then we obviously have our liquidated damages claims. So that's kind of in the hands of the attorney at this time. You know, our main focus is to get the building complete as quickly as we can and on budget. So, you know.
And right.
And correct, yes, sir. That's why I'm out there, you know, as much as I can, putting my eyes on things and calling out things and meeting with the engineers, meeting with the consultants, meeting with the construction company.
Mr. Superintendent, can we get an update in our Friday update about that meeting that they're having tomorrow? So at least we kind of know what's going on.
Stephen, where are we with contingency funds for that project?
Yeah, I looked at that right before I walked out of the office to come here. So we started out with $661,500, and I don't have the total number. I think we have allocated about $287,000 of that to date, so that leaves us $3-something. And you know, there are still some outstanding change orders that we're negotiating. So again, you know, our goal is, or my goal is to get the buildings complete with a good product as quick as we can and stay within that $600,000. That $600,000+ contingency is built into the contract. So if we don't spend all that, we do get that back.
How much of outstanding bills do we have on that $300,000 we have left?
I don't have a total on that either. That's kind of what we've been negotiating with assistance for the attorney and Muter's attorney. As a matter of fact, I have an 8 o'clock meeting tomorrow morning with Muter, LS3P. We discuss change orders weekly on Tuesday morning. So I have that at 8 and then meet with Rod at 9, our attorney at 9. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jordan, budget amendments.
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board, and the reason I was late is I didn't change my clock, and I was in there just working away at my desk thinking it was 4 o'clock. I just got off the phone with DPI, so I was working away. You have before you on board docs, budget amendments 14 through 18. Budget amendment 14 is an increase in state funds of $192,178. Budget amendment 15 is just interfund transfer of local funds. Budget amendment 16 is for federal funds, an increase of $48,227.09. Budget amendment 17 for capital outlay funds, that was an increase of $152,294. And budget amendment 18 was other local funds, an increase of $99,452.57. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them right now. If not, we're seeking board approval for budget amendments 14 through 18.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Etheridge makes a motion to approve budget amendments 14 through 18. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Tillman, I think I heard first. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Mr. Ingram, policies for approval.
All right. Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. In board docs, you have a list of policies presented last month for review. This being the conclusion of the 30-day review period, I would like to present these policies for adoption. 6430, purchasing requirements for equipment, materials, and supplies. 6450, purchase of services. 7650, employee travel and other expense reimbursement. 8305, federal grant administration. And 9125, participation by minority businesses.
Looking for a motion to approve the 5 policies.
So
Made by
moved.
Mr. Ingram. Motion by Mr.
Second.
Baldwin, second by Ms. Schuler. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? They're approved. Thank you.
All right. In board docs, you have a list of policies that we would like for you to review for a 30-day review period. 3620, extracurricular activities and student organizations. 5150, reporting to external agencies. This is a new policy. 7130, licensure, and 9110, use of selection of architects, engineers, surveyors, and construction manager at risk. The field trips are also in board docs.
Do we know that extracurricular activity policy, is that gonna just, I just gotta look over it, but
It's
does that
update
discuss,
legal
like,
references and that kind of thing.
or does it just, and it discuss like homebound students participating? or anything like
It
that?
includes that, that's in here, but it doesn't change anything. It's just minor changes, legal updates.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Dr. Farrell, surplus.
Yes, sir. In board docs, you have a list of items that we are requesting to surplus and list on GovDeals for your approval, please.
Looks like Elwood Middle cleaned up.
Overhead projectors. I make a motion to surplus the recommended items as presented.
Motion on the table by Mr. Baldwin. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hornsby. Are there any discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Place them on surplus. Thank you. Comments from any board members?
I'll start it. I had the opportunity to go to the College Promise information thing at RCC and also the early college. And I think about how great the opportunities were, because when I got ready to get out of high school, you went to college, you went to Vietnam, and all that opportunity. But I also had the, I think it was in February, I was supposed to go to the board of directors' first orientation meeting. And because of the weather that we had to do it Zoom, and we had to do it it was a 6 hour, 3 hours a day type thing. But I met a lot of new people there, and I think in May I've got to do a whole week, hour a day, and then in June I'll finally get to meet some of these people. But you know, they had different people from NCSBA, the lawyers, and the different people telling you what they do and that kind of thing, which I thought was really interesting.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Anybody else?
I just want to say great turnout at the middle school soccer jamboree at Richmond Senior Thursday. It's really neat to see all the middle schools get out there and play on the big field. I think it excites those kids to be on the pro field, if you will.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to recognize the African American Club. I think they had the program they had in February. I thought it was really a good program. I think it's the second, third year they've done it. I think Arthur Gillum and his team of folks have done a great job with that, and I think there's plenty others that work behind the scenes, but I just want to kind of recognize them on a great job of putting on that event. I did have an opportunity to participate in Read Across America at two schools, Washington Street and Mineral Springs School. And then lastly, I just like to, at some point, acknowledge our fall sports team. I know we've had several teams that have done fairly well and gone far in the playoffs. On the wrestling team, we had several players that went up, represented us regionally as well as the state. So kudos to them and the participants of that. Also, our boys basketball team went far in the playoffs as well as our girls, and we had a good showing. I thought I went to the game in Raleigh, and I thought we had a good representation of Richmond County. Richmond County showed up for our teams, and so just wanted to kind of recognize them. Now, hopefully we can get them. I know we've done in the past. Hope we can get them maybe to come to a board meeting and recognize them.
Yes, sir, we will.
They were
Great work by them.
They were conference champions. Well, the girls were. The boys tied for first, didn't they? Or they tied, yeah.
They would have got it.
Yeah. And the girls in that game, they were up. They went. That other team went on like an 8-0 run to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of let it slip away.
Yeah, that's all right.
Mistakes that we made, but hey, kudos to those girls. They played hard through the whole game. The coaches, like I said, look in the crowd and see us represented. That said a lot, and I'm sure for those players that meant a lot to see Richmond County up in the standings and they green and gold. So just thought that was cool.
Thank you, Ms. Tillman. Anybody else?
I had a blast reading with kindergartners at LJ Bell for Read Across America. That was a lot of fun. I was in 2 classrooms there. And kudos again to our winter sports. I have enjoyed cheering on the boys and girls basketball teams as well. And congrats to our wrestling team for a great season.
If you're in a bad mood and want to get out of your bad mood, just go read with children. It's great. It's fantastic. Have a ball every Monday morning.
Yeah, it's funny, Chairman. I had to do a disclaimer because I told always anytime I speak to them, I had to tell them, I was like, now one thing you're gonna notice as you get older, you're gonna start losing some of your 5 senses. One of those might be reading, you know, seeing and stuff. So I had to tell her, I said, now I wear bifocals. And so if I fumble across a word, I can read. But no, they thought that was funny. Told them, you know, hearing is another sense that you might.
Or getting down on your knees.
Or
and
getting
sitting-
down on your
sitting
knees,
in-
right, you can't
sitting-
get up
sitting
and
down,
help.
yeah.
I knew my limitations.
When I was getting ready to go Friday morning, I couldn't find my glasses.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't go read, and I don't have my glasses. So I had to go dig another pair, a spare pair out.
It was funny that you said they had like a little stool, and I said, what do I supposed to do with that? It's like, you need to find me a chair that I can, you know, get in. I need help getting out of
Be
here.
the chairman.
That'd have been version 2.0.
Oh my goodness. Getting those little chairs. I have to sit in those little chairs every Monday morning. They're not fun. They're not fun. I want to thank Cameron Cameron, you did a really great job putting on Facebook of all the pictures of Read Across America and all that, so thank you for that. Anything else?
And baseball season's going well, and so y'all bundle up and come on out there, it's cold.
Don't the athletic fields look great?
They do.
That baseball field is tremendous riding by it on the road. So, all right, Dr. Farrell.
So a couple of things to follow up on. We will be recognizing winter sports at the April board meeting. So just so that you are aware. And the soccer, middle school soccer jamboree did go well. We had to postpone the baseball and softball middle school jamboree. That will be taking place this Wednesday night, which is also right in the middle of Arts Alive. I'm going to send you all the schedule for Arts Alive on a text message after this meeting to make sure that you have it. But we have Arts Alive on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. Kind of the highlights of that, we have a band concert on Tuesday at 6. We have a wax museum on Wednesday at 4. And then the chorus performs on Thursday at 6 p.m. And if you're already missing winter sports, never fear. Saturday, we were Friday night in Raleigh for a basketball game, and Saturday at 3 p.m. for a baseball game, and out at the schools, the high school. So, plenty more opportunities where that came from. And just to remind you all that we do have a work session coming up in a couple of weeks on March 25th.
And that'll also be at 5 o'clock, right?
That is at 5 p.m. Yes, sir.
Can we go back to Catherine before we go in closed session? Since she is here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Say one.
No, there's two that goes together.
I got it. Let's see. We got it. Is this a different one? Okay, different. Okay. Okay.
Two different ones.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. And I get the bids on the last page, is that correct? With the second to last page in some of them?
You mean the money part?
Yeah.
Yes. So, if you want me to explain to you what they are, I'll be
Please.
glad to. So you should have two from Encore. As you can see, it has one that says cabling, option for soccer field, and then also there's one for field house at the football field. And the reason why there's two is because, what's happening is the fiber line is going from Richmond Senior, the main building, and it's running up the main line all the way, the main road, all the way up to the field house. And so while it's running up on the side of the soccer field, we can branch off right there and drop it there while we still go on up to the field house. And so, E-rate is funding, you know, all of this as far as, the fiber lines. And so while we're going up, it's an ample opportunity to go ahead and stop at the soccer field and going up. We can take that part off. But there are classes and there is instruction that goes on out there so that we can stop and do that if we'd like, or we can just go on up to the field house and not do it at the soccer field. But there are two, it's not two bids, there's two quotes. The quotes would go together when it comes to the actual, doing the project. They just broke it out just in case we wanted to take that part off of the soccer field, or the soccer area. And then the other one is from Lockstep Bridge Tech, and this is their quote for, getting internet out to the field house. But they are not doing the fiber line, they are just simply doing, a wireless, internet out there. And then, Mr. Satterfield, Chairman Satterfield, he has several companies that chose to not bid on it, and so he has the emails to where, those were not, they chose not to bid. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
So what was the motion that we had, Jenny? What was the one that you asked for?
The motion is to allow us to use E-rate funds to provide internet, to the soccer field and to the field house at the football stadium.
These are we have to use all three of these, right? Or no?
No.
Which one are you asking?
I'm asking to do Encore, both of the Encore.
So, let's make sure I understand. So, on one of the Encores, this is the one that's $16,855.36. That's for the soccer field. That's the quote on that one, right? And then the other quote is that the $95,089.91?
Yes.
Okay.
You're looking at roughly about 112,000 to do both, if you go all the way up.
And you said these funds are coming out of E-rate?
E-rate, yes.
Okay, so, okay. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the recommendation as presented for the bid for the soccer field at $16,855.36, and then also the second one for the field house at Richmond Senior High School for the total amount of $95,089.91.
Okay, so before I asked, Bobby Sue had that same motion. Is that correct? Because you made a motion to approve it.
I did.
I'll be a second.
So we'll do the second on that, okay? So is there any conversation, any discussion about this?
And we don't need a motion on Bridge Tech.
Because that's the other one. That's just a different way to do it. Is that correct?
Yes. My team chose to go with Encore because it is a fiber line versus a wireless, so you're gonna have better connection, and you can also branch off to more things later by using that fiber line.
Gotcha.
Your wireless is gonna get you to that place, and that's it.
Okay.
All right.
Catherine, how far under the ground is this?
How far what?
Is it under the ground, right?
So, yes, it will go underground from the main high school building all the way up to the two field houses.
How long does it take to do?
You mean how long is it,
Completion
the
of it.
project?
Yeah.
It shouldn't take them but just a couple days to do.
Ms. Schuler?
Educate me a little bit on E-rate funds.
So E-rate funds are available that is what uses to pay for your infrastructure with all of your internet, your WAN services, and it is for use for educational purposes, for classrooms, anywhere that students exist.
But if I understand you correctly, that money's already there and we're using it.
There is money there that needs to be spent
And it
by
covers
March
it.
26th.
Right, because if you don't spend it, you lose it. Is that
If you don't
correct? So
spend it,
you
you
gotta
lose
spend
it.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And the other bid, the Lockstep, so if you just put that I guess, what do you call it, the wireless port up there?
Yes.
Does that have to feed off of another port?
Yes, so you would still track it back to the main building.
Yeah, so-
And you're gonna have to have, yeah, it would bridge all the way from the main building up there to the field house. Yes.
Do they have connectivity up in the press box?
They do, by way of a wireless bridge that connects off of F building where the fire, and they constantly have issues with that.
Yes, I remember when I was up in the
Yes.
press box 2 years ago, it was not
Yes.
the greatest.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we
So
have.
this is going to improve that?
Yes, you would have a direct line versus doing it wirelessly. And it would all be underground.
So with this, we were also discussing, security cameras at the main gate.
So with E-rate funds cannot provide the security cameras. However, we will provide internet access up there. And so if another fund would like to provide cameras, then that's a possibility.
So that takes care of our problem for the cameras. So we have a motion by Ms. Ormsby, a second by Ms. Tillman. Any more discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Whew, it got it done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the information
Anytime.
and for all this copying.
I'm missing something here. So this time I need a motion to go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11, A, 3, and 6.
So move.
Have a motion by Mr. Tillman, second.
Second.
By Mr. Baldwin. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in closed session. Dr. Isler?
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board, on board docs is a personnel report and agenda. I'm asking for approval at this time.
Make a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
First by Mr. Baldwin, second by Mr. Mason. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Dr. Farrell, is there a way that we can sometime, I know it's not real good in some of these coaches, but be able to meet all the head coaches one time at a board meeting? Yeah, they got it like on informational purpose on this, but a lot of these we've never met before. We don't know who they are.
I think I understand what, like to bring all the head
All the
coaches
head
here,
coaches
just so
in
they can
here where
introduce
we can meet 'em,
themselves?
yeah. Just like in a board meeting, recognize them.
Possibly, let me think on it,
Okay.
but I'll put it on.
Okay.
Anything for the good of the cause? So what we need to do now is we need a motion to adjourn the meeting and go into closed session. Can I do all that in one motion, Eva?
Well, you're not adjourning the meeting, we're just taking it back into closed session.
And so I need another motion to go back into closed session again.
Yes, but we do not anticipate any further actions in open. Is that
Right.
accurate?
So I need a motion to go into closed session under General Statute 143-318-11-836 and with no further action. in
I
the
make a
open meeting.
motion to go into closed session.
Okay.
With all those numbers.
So I have a second by Mr. Baldwin. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we are back in closed session.